As the year went on, we changed things and altered things, and we altered the swinging arm, made it longer, altered the offset, put it out, and you know that improved it like 1 second a lap. You know, so it wasn't that good out the crate, even though it might have looked it. We did win the title in its first year, but we improved the bike the whole year. And by the last race of that year in '94 in Australia, it was a good bike to ride. You know, and in '95 it was.
Yeah. That must be a peculiar position for you and the factory to begin. They have a motorcycle that they're going to replace. They give you a brand new one, and your goal is to make that new one a lot like that old one, so you can go out and win on it again.
Well, it wasn't a case of making it like the old one. It was making it work on the track. It wasn't working on the track. It was right, going hard on, but not really carry the corner speed and come out. You know, and I didn't like that. You know, as a rider, I know my strengths, and my strengths were carrying a lot of corner speed, and I couldn't do it with this bike that we had. So we just made it better, really.
So '95 then was a lot easier.
Yeah, '95 it was. You know, still to this day, I've always said the '95 bike was possibly the best bike I've ever rode. You know, it was absolutely perfect. I couldn't fault it anyway. You know, it just made my job easy.
And as soon as you start talking about it, you start smiling and your eyes light up.
Yeah, I won a lot of races on that year, and I should have even won more. But it just, you know, like I say, a new bike in its second year is always stronger, and that bike in that year was perfect. You know, it wasn't as fast even that year, I don't think, as maybe the Honda, but as a bike, as a package, it was fantastic to ride through the corners. You know, we could put any tyre in it, and it would work. You know, it was a very good bike.
Then what in the world would prompt you then to jump over to the Honda?
I have no idea. I look back. I mean, you know, you do things. You think the grass is greener on the other side sometimes, and I don't know. To be honest, looking back on it, it was a stupid thing to do. You don't break up a winning team, and I did that. I felt that the Honda thing looked good from the outside. You know, it was all my friends from when I was at Honda. Them 3 years we've just talked about. It was based in England. The team looked really organised and well. You know, and one thing that I didn't like with Ducati, well, not Ducati, just with Virginia and that in '94, 95, it's so disorganised all the time. I didn't know what we were doing, and the Honda thing looked very professional. So I thought, oh, you know, we'll go there. You know, and you know, we didn't go too bad actually. I went down to the last round, so I still had a chance of winning the championship, but I realised that the bike didn't suit my style of riding as much as what the as much as what the Ducati had done. So you know, we won some races, but lost out in the title.
Yeah, the fact is, I think anyone that watched that year and watched you racing all agreed that had you stuck with it another year, you'd have won the championship.
Well, I believe I would have. There's no doubt about it. But I had to make a decision at the end of '96. As to where I was going to go or stay for the rest of my career. I felt it was at that point where if I went back to Ducati, I stayed there forever. If I stayed beyond, I stayed there for forever. But I felt that at the end of the year, Ducati was where I belonged. It's my home, it's my bike, my team, the family atmosphere, and I just wanted to spend the rest of my racing career back at Ducati, and I made that decision.
Yeah. You know, there was a lot of bickering going on at that time from the Honda camp. That we'll stay away from the names, but it was, if I had that twin-cylinder motorcycle, I could win.
What are we on about? I mean, Kaczynski, a perfect example, rode for Ducati in '96, but only finished third in the World Championships, and went to Honda in '97 and won the world title. So.
And you almost won it on a Honda.
Yeah, we came close. I believe if we could have got the bike working like it is now, I think after I left, they changed all the rear swinging arm and got the bike to carry some corner speed, which is my strength as a rider. Then I would have won. There's no doubt I would have won the title in '97. There's not even a question in my mind that I wouldn't have done. You know, but when you win titles, you got to listen to the people saying, if I had that, if I had this, blah blah blah. It happens to Mick Doohan, Kenny Roberts, all the best riders. When they win, the others say, he's good, he's got this bike or that bike. And, you know, I'm used to that. It doesn't bother me because I know, and the team and the people around know that you're the best out there, and that's why you win.
Carl, it dawns on me as we talk, obviously I'm not a racer to understand about setups and things, but you are very astute as to what you need to ride that motorcycle, the way you need it set up, your corner speed, you know, specifically. Do you have more of that setup moxie, do you think, than most of the other competitors?
I don't think so. I think if it's one weakness I've had over the years, it's maybe not the ability to set a bike up as good as what some others can. And I'm honest about that. I think there's some riders who are quite good at setting up, and some think they are and say they are, but they're not. I've always admitted that I'm not the best at setting the bikes up in the world. I don't really know what I want. I've just got on the bike and pulled the throttle back harder and then pulled it back even harder to go faster. Not come in and thought about the bike and changing it and just kept looking at times and put a new tyre in and go out again. That's one mistake I've had over the years. But this year, it's one area I've improved as a rider this year, is that I've spent a lot of time not watching what the others are doing and just working with the bike, changing things and going out and testing things for a long time, like the rear tyres and things like that. And that's the team pushing me to do that, I think. Instead of doing one fast lap and coming in, keep out there and test the tyres, test the suspension. And that's, I think, been the key to winning this year's world title.
How important is slick in this whole run of things?
It's definitely sound. He's got less important. I think it was very important in '93, '94, then slowly gone down because he was like the one guy that did everything, I guess, in them years. But the way it's changed now is that you have a guy for each department, and he's found that really hard to cope with, I think. This year, 1999, I've hardly spoken to him, to be honest. I've got other guys in charge of the engine, suspension, telemetry, then they got the engineers, tyre, whereas he did the whole thing many years ago. Now he's sort of like standing around half the time saying, I don't know what to do, So it's this year's the important thing is that everyone's come together. Because we had a year together last year, '98, which we were a bit up and down, and we were lucky to win it really at one point. And they've all come together this year and all working well. That's been the key, that everyone's worked well this year, I think, and myself as a rider.
When you look back over your career, are you sorry you never made a serious run at the Grand Prix Championships?
I'm not sure. It's not something I worry about or even think about anymore, to be honest. Maybe when I'm, retired and old, sat at home, I'll maybe start wondering to myself what would have happened. But at this moment in time, I'm just happy in Superbikes because it's so big, it's so important to win. So I'm not too worried about it. But if I'd have gone to Grand Prix, I'd have won there. There's no question. I'm in Superbikes, and it's a massive series. It's important to the manufacturers, and I'm a world champion. So can't ask them more than that. Really.
You tell me if I'm right. I think the only reason you maybe would be sorry is that there are comparisons, and we'll never know, between yourself and Mick Doohan and yourself and the top guys. Am I right?
I don't know, maybe. But at the end of the day, if Mick Doohan's the best 560 rider ever, I'm the best superbike rider ever, so I can live with that. I'm sure he can live with that.
I think that was spoken very, very well. Funny though, as recent as this year it was rumored that you were headed to the GPs.
I know Mick quite well, and I spoke to him a couple of times. I spoke to him on the way to America for the Laguna race. Spent a bit of time with him, and he showed a lot of interest in what my plans were for the year 2000. And I got the impression that, for sure that if he was running a team in the year 2000, then he was interested in having me on the bike. And I sort of probably give him the thing like, well, I'm not really that bothered, and he's sort of, what's that? I'm maybe too old. I don't think I've got the motivation to learn how to ride another bike. And he was sort of saying, no, you're not too old. And the difference between riding your bike and a 500 now is very, very small. The 500 is a lot easier to ride than what it used to be. And this is coming from like the horse's mouth, the best 560 rider of all time, probably. So I was like, I think the way the rules have changed for 500s. Unleaded fuel and that, it's just made them easier to ride, and whereas he could ride them when they were really were bad to ride, and aggressive. And I think now that anyone jumping on them and going fast straight away, I think that's what's frustrated him over years, that they've made the bikes too easy to ride. So, but it was nice that he would, somebody like him was keen to have me in the team on the 500. But not to be.
Those aspirations, if they were ever there, are gone forever. You'll never be a GP rider.
No, never. I don't think so anyway.
This year, 1999, you won a championship on another new motorcycle, the 996. Was it as difficult to jump on and win as it was on the 916?
Yeah, it was difficult, not this year. It was difficult in 97 because I'd obviously come back from Honda. A lot of the personnel had changed, and I had a new bike. It wasn't... That 97 season where I lost the title to Kaczynski, the bike was bad to ride. It was all the Ducatis I've rode. That was the worst one in '97.
That was the 916.
No, 996.
Ah, sorry.
It was a 996 in '97. So it's like anything else. We've had 2 years to get it right again. That's why we're sort of riding on the crest of a wave now. It took like throughout '97 getting it to work better. It was an awful thing to ride. It was delivery was all wrong. It was running wide everywhere, and we just got it better, and that's why we have a good bike now.
I want to point it at a favorite race this year. Watching you ride was Monza. Man, tell me about the double win, last laps. When we go to Monza, we always think we're going to be a bit of a disadvantage because the Hondas usually have the big speed advantage there. And this year was no different. They had a bit of an advantage, but I could stay with them, no problem. And, when I rode through the corners behind them and in front of them, I realised I was quite a bit quicker than Colin through most of the corners. I thought, I've got to win it now. I really want to win this one now, and made the break on the last lap and won it. And then in the second race, I made a mistake on the last lap and lost a little bit of time to Colin, but went absolutely flying through the last S's, got back on his toe and went around the outside of him on the last corner and just won it, and it was fantastic. To win races like that is great, and I think even he appreciated it a little bit after. Did he shake his head and say wow afterward?
It was good. I mean, we're both riding hard, and I think he sort of said, well, fair enough, you beat me fair and square, which you did. But to win in Italy is always great, but Monza's always a bit even special. There's a bit of history to it, and to win 2 races there on a circuit we didn't really expect to win on was great.
This is an old story, but I find great humor in it. I've asked you about it, I know, a couple of times in America. The 2 pet pigs you had, that you named Colin and Scott after Colin Edwards and Scott Russell.
No, they were Scott and Aaron.
Scott and Aaron, okay. That was just a great story. Do you still have them?
No. I've not had them for 2 or 3 years now. No.
But I understand that you changed the pig's name depending on who you had to beat at a particular time.
Well, I was a bit like that. I was a bit, yeah. I had a cockroach in Japan, and I named that Colin. But that was 3 years ago.
Another story that always amused me. That's just exactly how much time we have.
Sorry, I'm rolling.
Okay. Another story that always amuses me is the journalists that made so much of the fact that you came to America and all of a sudden they said Carl Fogarty hates Americans.
It was, I remember who did that and everything. This is the press guy with Honda now, Chris Herring. He did that story.
But it never happened. You didn't hate Americans.
I remember saying I hate the track Daytona, which I do. I hate that place. But I think at that time I just won the World Championship, and they wanted to do like a big publicity thing, like a bit like boxing and stuff, And I thought it was quite funny, but it didn't go down too well in the no, I never said that I hated Americans. I just said I hated Daytona and I'm going to go and win there and stuff. But it all came out in a different way, but it was quite funny. Now looking back at it, it's funny because I suppose any publicity is good publicity at the end of the day, and at the time it was bad publicity, but it's all right now.
How about your thoughts on some of the guys that you're acquainted with and have ridden with? Let's start with Troy Corser.
Yeah, Troy is, he's a very quick guy. One of the quickest, probably the quickest guy out there for one lap. Some of his Super Pole laps are incredible. In the race, tends to, I think, lose concentration a lot of times and drops back when it needs a bit of, determination and aggression to get around the problem. He doesn't seem to have it and seems to drop back and finish sometimes like he saw in the last race at Sugo, 13th. We had tyre problems, but I can ride around him and get a good result, whereas he seemed to struggle. But he's a good guy, and he's an ex-world champion anyway. So.
John Kosinski.
My best mate.
He said that with a smile on his face.
Very, very difficult, I think. Very temperamental. If things are going good, then he's very, very fast, no doubt about it. If things aren't going good, then it's easy for him to blame everybody else and cause problems within every team he's been in. So. A bit of a freak of nature, to be honest with John, but on his day he's very, very fast, and no doubt about it.
I'm going to interrupt. That line just occurred to me. Wayne Rainey, in his book, talked about the psychology aspect of racing, how psyching a rider out or psyching himself up was so important. And he used John Kosinski as a prime example. Do you do that same thing, and in particular, could you do it easier with John than someone else?
I used to do it a lot in, like, you know, with Scott Russell and Aaron Slide, like back in 93, 94, 95. I used to say things about them, but bad things about them, really. But I felt that if I said that, I had to go out and beat him. So I put pressure on myself. But if I said, oh, you know, he's slow and his bike's foul or something like that, then I had to go out and beat him. Otherwise, I would look stupid. It made me go out and win races then.
So it was a two-way street.
It just felt like I had to do it, and I enjoyed doing it and just winding him up and saying things about him. But I had to go out and beat him, and I don't say it so much now.
How about Colin Edwards?
Yeah, it's the same with Colin. When he came over in 95, he was sort of shouting his mouth off a little bit, and I sort of had a dig at him and said some things about him and stuff. And you know, I think I said something like, if I were as slow as him, I'd keep your mouth shut until I'd done something decent. But we didn't get on again. But like now, I get on with Colin really well. I like him a lot, and he's a good rider, there's no doubt about it. I think of the riders, he's going to be my hardest guy to beat next year. And, you know, I do respect him as a rider. But when he first came over, I was bad then. I was to look at the back and I didn't realise I was that bad actually.
You backed it all up.
I had to, didn't I? Yeah.
How about Scott Russell?
Again with Scott, we both arrived on the scene in 93 and I didn't really know him, he didn't know me. I wanted to win, he wanted to win. I came up against somebody who wanted to win as bad as me. I hadn't seen that before, and so you can imagine we didn't get on at all. In 93, he took the title from me. And then in 94, I reversed the roles and we still really didn't get on. I think then after that, we came, you know, he went somewhere, he went to Grand Prix in 95 and I carried on winning. And he came back in 97, and for 97 and 98, we got on so well. And I really miss him, I like him a right lot. We got on really, really well, and I've had some good nights out with him and some laughs with him, you know. But when we first both on the scene, he couldn't get on with somebody he wanted to beat so badly, you know. But we both got older and both mellowed, I guess, and, you know, I miss him now, really.
Aaron Slight?
I've always found him very difficult to get on with, very difficult to have a bit of a laugh with somehow. He always took everything I said about him in 94 and 95 very personal, and he's never forgetting for it.
Well, Carl, you were saying these things about him.
I know.
What kind of things did you say?
I can't remember, to be honest. I don't know. I just kept saying, you know, his bike's really, really quick, but he's slow. And, you know, if I were on the bike, I'd be winning. I said a lot of bad things, to be honest, but he took them really personally. He got really upset, and he's never really forgiven me, to be honest. Never really. He's one rider that I don't know. Others will say, yeah, Carl rode well today, beat me fair and square. Whereas he'd never get Aaron saying that. It was, oh, I brake fade. That's usually his favourite excuse, brake fade or something. So of all the riders in the paddock now, he's the one I sort of don't really get on with that much at all. Really. I don't speak too much. He never forgive me for what I said about him in 94, 95.
Anthony Gobert. These are some tough questions, aren't they?
Anthony's somebody I've not seen a lot of, really, for a good few years, to be honest. I mean, he's got his problems off track, obviously. You know, he's very, very talented. He's got a lot of natural talent, but he doesn't seem to be able to hold it together and go after a racing season. You know, with that, he just seems to go off the rails every other weekend. You know, he's sort of put some weight on, and he just lost it completely. I think now I don't think he'll. I don't think I'll ever see him win a world championship race again, to be honest. Sad, but he's just sort of just lost it all, really. Whether he needs someone just to guide him along or something, I don't know. But like I say, I haven't seen him for a good few years. But you just read about him and hear about what he's going through, and just think it's sad, really. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's only got himself to blame, I think.
Next year, you'll be teamed with a guy that's my personal favorite, Ben Bostrom. Good guy all around, and he's turned into a pretty good racer. Has not been at it all that long. First, your thoughts on Ben and the teaming up with him.
I mean, I don't know a lot about him, to be honest. I've met him once, I think, in America, obviously, this year, and it's a nice bloke, you know, and it's probably spoke to him for about 5 minutes. That's about all. And but he's doing the business in America. He's obviously won the American Championship last year, lost out this year by a couple of points, and already won a World Championship race. So he's done everything right, and I think Ducati see Ben as maybe the future of Ducati. You know, they want to bring on a new rider, a young rider, and he's the best one around at the moment. So
if the two of you are able to get along, if your personalities match, Are you willing, as a champion and the reigning king of world superbike racing, are you willing to work with him and help him along?
Absolutely no problems. He'll have access to everything I've done. I do, you know, all the data on the telemetry, whatever he wants to know, it's not a problem. We'll help each other. I mean, I can't see any reason why we won't get on. We will get on. There's not be a problem at all. But it'll be a little bit difficult because he's going to be learning new circuits, new tyres, things like that. So I might not work as much with him as I work with Troy because you know he's going to be learning and finding his own way around it, I guess. So, but there'll be no problems. We'll get on fine. And at the end of the day, just go out there and race. That's what we're both paid to do.
Finally, Carl, how long will Carl Fogarty continue to race and reign supreme over the world superbikers? And what is your intention when it's time to hang up the leathers?
I'm not sure. I keep saying it's 1 year at a time, basically. If I'm winning races and the motivation's there, then I carry on racing. Simple as that. If I race next year and the old injuries are giving me too many problems, or I'm struggling to win, I think it's down to me that I'm not winning, then I'll just quit and say thanks very much. I've had a great time, you know. But if next year I'm winning the races and winning the world championships, and I can't see why I won't carry on into the year 2001. And after when I do give up, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't know. Maybe send Michaela out to work then. She's been living off me for the last 10 years.
Have you, listen, I'm going to ask you one more question. With the arrival of the family, is racing harder for you or easier?
It's not really changed, to be honest, because as long as I've been successful in motorcycle racing, I've always had a family. You know, Danielle came along in '91. And almost success has happened since '91, so it's something for me. It's been easy to do because I've been used to it for the last sort of 8 years, really.
Carl, I want to thank you for spending the time with us. This has been a real pleasure.
You just timed it right as well.
I did. It started to rain. Thanks again, and we'll wish you the best luck. Best luck in the year 2000.
Great interview.
Excuse me. He seemed to be enjoying himself too.
Now that's your talent.
Yeah,
No?
It was fun. Oh yeah, I like to do those things.
You got to keep up that story.
Yeah, I just wish they were the big bucks.
All right, we're going to get him and Rico.
I'll tell you what, though.
Now, here's the deal now.
Okay, you ready? Yep. What is your last name, Slick?
Bass.
Is that what you prefer to be called?
No.
Okay.
Slick's much better. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Slick, let's talk about the 916. When it first came in, replaced the 888. Carl said there were some problems with the thing. Do you recall?
Yeah. In the early times, I mean, the swinging arm was very, very short there. It was like another 40 millimeters or 30 millimeters shorter than what we have now. There was some problems with suspension and general setup of the bike, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, any new bike has a lot of problems, and the Ducati factory managers sort them out very, very quickly. That's why they got the championship that year.
As you recall, looking back to that year, was it something that you looked at with glee and said, wow?
Yeah, it was amazing because like you don't normally get a prototype bike become a production bike racer and win the championship all in 1 year. It's just amazing, really. I mean, it's a great effort by Ducati for doing something like that.
You get a lot of that credit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a mechanic in the team for Carl, and I like to see Carl win races, and I try my best to make sure the things are right for him, you know.
Yeah. It's like, how hard was Carl to live with when that thing first came out?
Oh, he was a nightmare. He's always been a nightmare. He's getting better now, but any rider who wants it bad is going to be a nightmare, you know, that's for sure. They want to win, and if they can't win, it's just like you're snatching their tools out the pram, you know. It's just nothing's going to happen for them.
How does the involvement of a motorcycle work from a standpoint of a company who's geared 100% toward racing? Engineers design it, they give it to you, then what happens?
Yeah, once we get it, we take it to the track, we go testing, we see if we can get the maximum out of what they've made. We can see if we can find any fundamental problems which have to be redone back at the factory. Yeah, I mean, once they've given it to us, the job's nearly done. There's only like the fine-tuning of the suspension, carburation, tyres, things that you have to do at the track, and make sure the thing that will run and finish the race as in that form. You know, like the things aren't going to fall apart, and like some bolts falling out or anything like that. So.
Okay, so like you mentioned, let's pick on the swing arm for a second. Generally, when an engineer designs something, he says this is going to work, and you know they're very reluctant to want to make changes. Now you are on the practical side. You said this is what we have now. How does that work at Ducati?
Oh, very well. I mean, I found when I worked with Honda for a while that they were much more difficult to get them to change anything that was made on the bike. If some guys developed a bike, and that's how it should be. And if you tell me you want the swing arm shoulder at that point, they won't want to change it, you know. But whereas Ducati, they'll sit there and think about it. Oh yeah, you're right. Let's go longer with the swinging arm, or do something else with the clutch and this sort of thing. And they actually come around and come back with an idea and go and test it, which is very, very good.
Could that be, Ed, are you okay with that?
Yeah, Larry.
Okay. Ed, could that be the difference between a company that revolves around racing and a company that revolves around marketing like Honda?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Ducati built a race bike and put it on the road, where Honda built road bikes and put them on a racetrack. I mean, that was the big difference between the Ducati and the other Japanese manufacturers.
And the feedback from to the engineers.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's much closer. It's more of a, in comparison to the size. I mean, I know how big Honda is in the racing department compared to Ducati. It's similar size, but there's much more communication between track and workshop. So it's very good.
As the 916 ran its course and gave way to the 996, is it something, because you were here and you put so much of slick bass into that thing, was it sad for you to see it go?
For sure, but I mean, the development of this bike is, it's the way it's going to have to go, and it's the way it will continue going. I mean, I'm not sure what the plans for the future for it, but obviously it's near at the end of its development, and it's been a brilliant bike. You can't knock any part of its evolving at all. You know
what? I read somewhere that the Ducatis are different than most motorcycles in that they introduce a new bike, here it is, but when Ducati does it, they don't really introduce a new bike. It's like an evolution. It's the old bike. Is that accurate from your standpoint?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every year the things have been changed. Most of the things for the good, but some of the things have slept in that had caused a problem with the bike, and they've had to go back over and revise things. But the majority of the things, it's evolved beautifully. It's a wonderful thing to see over the years.
Finally, because you were so intricately involved with that 916, did they give you one for your living room floor?
No, I got a mini moto though. It looks like it. I like racing that.
Okay.
Because I don't understand very well English.
Does he need a translator?
No, you speak perfect. You're okay. No, you're okay.
I don't understand very well. I speak, but I don't understand.
Slowly.
You want to help with questions? And can you help?
They're waiting for me.
Oh.
They're already yelling.
Go ahead and go. We'll be okay. We'll be okay.
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 You're good guy.
The Ducati 916, what were your thoughts when that motorcycle first came out? Did you like the motorcycle?
Yes, I know motorcycle. I know very well Ducati, because I race for Ducati for 1991, 92, 93, 94. I finished because I have accident in Spain. After 2 races, before the 4 race, but I win 16 race the World Championship Superbike, and when I have accident in the 94, I stay in second position in the World Championship, and Carl Fogarty in 4. I'm think going coma. Carl win the World Championship, and after win another 3 times the World Championship. Carl Fogarty is a fantastic rider. I know very well, because he's my teammate in 93 and 94. And I know very well Carl is a fantastic, very strong rider. But, and Ducati, because Carl winner 94 the World Championship, 95 World Champion, 96 go to Honda, don't winner. 97 come back to Ducati, no winner. 98 with Ducati win the World Championship. 98, 99 win another time with Ducati. And Fogarty and Ducati is fantastic.
You were a fantastic rider. Do you the Ducati 916? The 916 Ducati?
Yeah.
You helped that program. Yeah. Do you remember what did you do with the program to help develop it?
In the winter 93, I working with the new Ducati 916 with the engineer Bordi, and the Ducati 916 is a new, but after I working for Ducati with Ducati, I have accident, a Fogarty winner, but I prepared the bike, motorcycle, but the Ducati is fantastic, and the Fogarty, sure.
Very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Greg, go in 3, 2.
Well, folks, the rain's falling here in Misano. We got shortchanged a little on the test, but I think consensus is that this 748 is destined for greatness. It's greatness at the world level and the AMA level.
What's this here you've been doing?
Oh, hi, Carl.
Can you explain that?
Thanks. Do I get to take this home?
Explain it later.
Well then, from Italy, reporting for Bike Week, I'm back of the pack, crasher, Greg White.